just need you to tell me when 28 minutes.
Together we ride.
Season 4! Season 4 of Real Talk with me, Emma G.
And Dinah,
where we will be coming at you every week with real, honest, authentic conversations with executives and healers,
creatives and entrepreneurs
about real conversations, authenticity, and what mental health sounds like.
Yes, raising the vibration one conversation at a time.
Every Monday, tune in here live. I get giggling whenever I see that because I'm like, well, first of all, I'm so excited about this podcast. I'm so excited that I get to hang out with awesome entrepreneurs like yourself. But I have to apologize because my co-host, Dinah, is sending her love from Southeast Asia right now. So I'm going to try my best to encompass the energy of high key living. But welcome back, friends. Happy Monday. My name is Emma G. Today on Real Talk, Mental Health Sounds Like This, I am super pumped because we have somebody who's very different from last week's guest. She is an entrepreneur. Well, she's a DC professional that turned creative entrepreneur, musicpreneur, if you will. She's somebody who very much encompasses so many of the values that I personally try to emulate in the world. But this woman is, you're liquid sunshine in so many ways. Kimberly Shires of Hear Me Roar Studio. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I'm super excited. Yeah, we love fun. We haven't even got it started.
I haven't even got it started, but it's still fun. And I'm sorry to miss time.
Yeah. I know she's sending her love, and I'm going to try and channel her energy and her questions. So for those who don't know you, obviously, you've been in the music space for a long time. You started as a singer-songwriter yourself. You actually started way before that as an instrumentalist. But before you came to this point in your life, you're now, you've now become this badass producer and award-winning songwriter and collaborator and somebody who's on a mission, it seems, to help not just elevate the voices of DC musicians, but women and non-binary folk worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here in DC.
Yeah.
So can you speak to that a little bit? Especially since so many people, I think of DC as a non-music town.
Yeah. I mean, they do, but we have a lot of great infrastructure here and a lot of great studios here. And one thing that I noticed, when I first started the studio, one thing that I noticed is there are very few women in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a space that I was entering, and I was entering full force. And so I thought, well, what does that mean? And how can that be useful to people? How can I leverage that even? So, I kind of thought about that for a moment. And, one of the things that, clearly came to me was that women often feel more comfortable with women.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit of a toughness or a gear-splaininess, in the
gear-splaininess. I love that.
In the audio world. And from me, you're gonna get words like gear-splaininess, not the inmate 45. I don't talk in serial number, kind of thing.
Right.
And I always found that a bit difficult to engage with myself, as a woman and as a performer and as a recording artist, to walk into a space and somebody's throwing serial numbers at me, and I'm like, I can't have a conversation with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up impacting my creativity. It impacts my feelings of safety. It impacts my confidence. And it kind of takes you down, and you feel like, okay, I don't know anything. I don't know how to have a conversation with this person, and I feel like I'm being talked at rather than talked with. And so I wanted to change that approach and, you know, work with artists in a way that allows them to walk into the studio fully armed with their creativity, with their art, with their vision, and actually listen to it and try to understand what it is they're trying to say. And one of the first things that I'll do is I'll talk to them about their art, talk to them about their music, talk to them about, you know, what was their headspace when they wrote it. And that's when you start getting into the underbelly of why they even create. And that's where it like really starts to intersect with the mental health aspects. Because as you know, Emily, writing is therapeutic, right?
What? Really? Amazing.
It is. I mean, somebody wrote like an entire book about it.
I mean, hey.
And people come into the studio with that. They come into the studio with their therapy assignment.
Right.
And they're looking at you to create that sonically.
Sure.
And I want to honor that. And I want to pay homage to that, and, you know, really understand, well, what are you bringing in here?
Right.
Where are you with that? What struggles are you going through? And then what does that sound like?
Yeah.
And mental health sounds like this, right?
Right. Exactly.
You know, so we're like literally creating the soundscape for mental health in the studio. So, you know, it you know, veers on a bit therapeutic situation, you know, when you're in that space. So it's like we'll talk, we'll get to know each other and make sure they feel comfortable. Making sure that space physically feels comfortable. You know, it's a good temperature, that the lighting is good, that it's comfortable, that it's clean, that it doesn't have like strong smells or anything like that coming, you know, from anywhere, like candles or, you know, even like nice things like candles or incense and stuff like that can be disruptive to people, especially vocalists, you know. So we want to keep, you know, your space very clean and free of that kind of stuff, so that it feels welcoming and it feels safe. So I wanted to be that studio. And I mean, I'm not the only studio that's like that, you know, there's plenty of comfortable studios that you walk into. But I wanted to make a point of it being that, so that when the women that I work with and when the gender expansive individuals that I work with come in, they're not worried about how I'm perceiving. I mean, I know that's not necessarily a direct connection, but I think when you feel comfortable in a space, you're more likely to just feel comfortable as yourself and show up as yourself and show up authentically. So I just want to create room for that, and both physically and emotionally, by listening, hearing what their songs are about, hearing what their art's about, why they make it, what led them to where they are, what are their goals with it. And, you know, sometimes it's, I just need to create this, and that's amazing. Like, you know, I don't need somebody to come in and be like, oh, I want to make a hit. It's like, okay, we can also do that, but, you know, I want to know why you're creating, you know, because that is the thing that really connects us to that music and allows other people to then connect with that music.
I love, obviously, I mean, that mental health aspect is so important for so many creatives, and I love the emotional aspect of it as well, obviously, because lyrics are such an outpour. I talk about in my book all the time that, you know, emotions are just energy in motion. Talk to me though, like, I think when people kind of get stuck in this idea of the hit, making the hit, and that vulnerability that comes with that balance between wanting that emotional expression, but also wanting to make sure that it's earwormy enough, right?
Right.
And I'm particularly interested in this because as you were speaking, you know, your emphasis is so much on women and non-binary folk, but in the many cultures that I come from and the many places in which I've been honored to live, there has always been an underlying theme of women tending to be competitive with or jealous of or just you know, really conflicting with other women.
Yeah.
one of the things I love about the DC environment is that there seems to be a huge sisterhood here.
Yeah.
And I think that your business very much lends to that co-opetition, together we rise mindset. How did you come to establish that in a world that very much kind of idealizes women against women?
Yeah. I don't have space for that.
You don't have space for that mindset, or what do you mean?
I don't feel that way, I guess.
Good.
And
this is why we're friends.
The funny thing about it is like I do have this business that's very like women focused, but I'm like kind of a dude's girl also. You know, which is like interesting, you know, like I get along really, really well with men as well. I get along well with everybody. But like, you know, for example, like, you know, when you find yourself, you know, at a dinner party and maybe it's a more traditional group of people and, you know, the women go off to one side and the men go off to the other side, I tend to sit with the men.
Oh, interesting.
You know? I don't know. That doesn't really answer your question. But I think like some of that cattiness I find just really off-putting.
Yeah.
And there's enough space in this world for all of our greatness.
Right.
So there isn't this like feeling of, well, you're great, therefore I'm not great. And I think that's where like this like scarcity mentality comes from. That is like, if somebody else has that shine, I don't have that shine, or there's not room for anyone else to shine. And I just don't believe that.
So greatness isn't like pie. There's enough to go around.
It's not a pie.
Yeah.
No, it's not a pie. And I think like when you bring two greatness together in the studio and you're bringing those ideas, you know, from everybody, you're just compounding greatness.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's really amazing. I mean, sometimes the artists that I work with, not sometimes, a lot of the times, the artists that I work with come up with amazing ideas that I wouldn't have come up with. And we incorporate them.
Yeah.
And then I build on their idea, and then they build on my idea, and then I build on their idea. And it's this beautiful collaboration going back and forth that then creates something that neither one of us would have thought up on our own.
Right.
Like the music I create for the artist sounds nothing like the music I create for myself.
Right.
You know,
I've noticed that.
It's like it's all over the map and like all over different genres and things like that. So it's a lot of their inputs and their artistry that's shining through, and I'm trying to amplify their artistry rather than recreate their artistry. And I think that's one of the things that maybe sets me apart. I'm not the only producer that does that, but I think that a lot of times, and I hear this a lot from artists that I work with, that they've had experiences, and I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a men thing. It's just that most other producers are men. So, you know, it kind of falls that way. But they go into a studio and they feel like they couldn't speak to their vision, that their ideas weren't listened to, that they were overridden, and they weren't asked. So it was like they were told. And like, oh, this is how your song should be. And I don't approach it that way. I think a lot of times we think, you know, as musicians and as songwriters, like this song is like a life form of its own, you know? And so like the song will tell us, you know, what it wants. But who's the mouthpiece of the song? Is it me or is it the artist?
Right.
I believe it's the artist. And when I work with the artist, I treat it that way. And I try to suss out what is the song telling me through the artist rather than what is the song telling me, Kimberly.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's like one of the things with that, you know, I think just that mindset of that collaboration and that together we make something better.
Yeah.
It just kind of takes away that sort of like, I don't want you to be good because I'm less than. But that just doesn't make sense to me.
That makes sense. No, I hear you. I love it. It's interesting. So I've worked with a lot of producers over my career, obviously starting in New Zealand when I was 10, recording my very first single, Look Around. It's been, to your point, it's only ever been male producers. Don't worry about it. you know, it's only ever been male producers, but I feel like it's more like an energy thing, right? Like it's not just it's not about that necessarily being told how your song should be, but it's about understanding the wavelengths that you're both on as you're producing the music.
Yeah.
You know, my first single, Look Around,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was going to be an R&B soul,
Right.
you know,
Right.
hip hop song.
Right. Yeah.
That wasn't even in my mindset. And now, you know, then it's Static Era, it was a lot more interactive for us as a band. But, you know, nowadays, I think for me personally, it's been very much a therapeutic, cathartic process, which means that I'm more interested in the lyric writing and the melodies than I am necessarily in the production. Like the production, okay, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. So for artists who are like that, how do you balance?
Yeah, oh, that's a great question. I would say most of the artists that I work with are not like that. Most of them come in with very specific ideas, and they've tried to express those ideas in the past and haven't been able to. So that's generally
they've been mansplained as opposed to ear-splained. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. So that's often the case of what I'm dealing with.
Right.
If they don't have an idea at all, and this would be like maybe 5 to 10% of the artists that I've worked with that came as a complete blank slate, we listen to it together. And then I think of like, well, what does it sound like to me? And then we start pointing to references and we start listening to a lot of music together, because even if they don't hear a specific production, everybody's brain has a sonic palette, right?
I like that. Sonic palette. It sounds like a band name.
It does. It does sound like a band name. And everybody has preferences. There's certain things that irk people, like really saw buzzy synths. Some people can't stand that sound. Some people are obsessed with that sound.
Saw buzzy,
like sawtooth. It's like a waveform.
Okay.
So it's like it sounds buzzy.
Interesting.
Buzzy and distorted.
Okay.
Instead of round and focused.
Interesting.
So what I do is I spend time with those artists listening to music together, so I understand how they hear and process sound. And then I work with them to create that into their song. So we'll listen to that in the combination with their actual song. I'll have them play it for me. I'll have them perform it live for me. Play me your song. And then I think, are there any artists it reminds me of? And if there are, then we'll listen to those artists. And I'll kind of bounce off them to see, is this an influence of yours? If that's not, who else was an influence of yours? Because there is something, they just might not be able to articulate it.
So is that, to get kind of woo-woo on behalf of Diana?
You can totally get woo-woo.
Well, no, I mean, partly woo-woo.
I'm the one who like saged my studio space.
Girl sang. No, but so you're speaking to me a little bit because like it's lighting up a little bit because when you brought up the sawdust analogy, right? Back in my heavy metal days, I used to listen to two specific super underground, super, I don't know, like a little more hardcore than people might expect bands. One was a band called Chimera.
Yeah, I think I would expect it.
I mean, you would.
I think I would expect it.
We're going to have to listen to Chimera together. So Chimera was one of them, and the second was a band called Ill Disposed. And so when you bring up the whole idea of sawdust, my brain went to listening to Ill Disposed's album at one point in my 1988 Honda CRX that I bought for $650 when I was 16.
Sounds a lot
and
like my first
I
one.
remember listening to it and hearing the sawdusty thing and thinking my car was about to break down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I loved that sound.
Yeah.
And then come to present day in my book, I talk a lot about sound frequencies, and I talk a lot about how, how different frequencies affect the brain, especially if you're neurospicy. And then, of course, there's a new trending topic. I don't know how new it is, but where you've got different sound frequencies that go between left and right.
I was literally creating this yesterday.
Right.
Binaural beats.
Binaural beats. And that's specifically supposed to be helpful for those with ADHD. Which again, I kind of like to explore, in my own studies, but also in my book and whatever. how does that kind of relate to what you give with what you create with your artists?
Yeah.
Because I think so many people don't even understand
Yeah.
how scientifically impactful
Yeah.
sound frequencies have.
Yeah. Yeah. We're typically working in standard frequencies, like 440. You
Yeah.
know, that unless I actually recently I'm working with somebody on recording her sound. Well, I've already done it. Her sound bowls and a bunch of stuff for a sound bath.
Oh, cool.
We're creating audio recordings, and I created the binaural beats in that.
Okay.
Where it's like you pan them. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really interesting because we've had a couple of people listen to it, and neurospicy people are like, oh, and like neurotypical people are like, it makes my brain itch in a way that I can't scratch it.
Right. we call them muggles. My husband calls them normies.
But yeah, that's interesting. But I'm not usually working in different frequencies. And I could if the artist really wanted to. It wouldn't be hard just to tune everything to that. But then you would have to tune everything to that. And nobody's expressed an interest, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I know there are some people that detune their guitar to a different frequency and will play with that kind of stuff. So I would be open to that. It's not something that I've done yet in any of the productions. Everybody's kind of come in, 440.
Wanting to be normal.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It hasn't honestly been a question we've explored very much. And maybe, for certain artists that I work with, maybe it's something I'll bring up and ask them if it's something they'd be interested in exploring, around different frequencies and recording in those different frequencies. But yeah, also to that, just whether you're tuned to 440 or something different, higher or lower than that, there's still frequencies, spectrums within 440. And those frequencies mean different things to different people.
Of course.
And that's the thing that I'm trying to suss out with the artist. So there's one artist that I work with, really high pitched things like cymbals.
Yep.
She cannot stand that sound. She can't handle it. So I know not to incorporate things like that into her music.
Right.
And you start to get to learn how people hear things and how they want to hear things. And everybody is so once you start asking the questions and people feel open to start expressing their thoughts and opinions and preferences on it and feel comfortable that they're going to be heard and acknowledged in that and executed on, you find everybody is entirely completely different. So as a producer, I'm not I don't have that sound, it's I don't work that way. That's not my angle.
Interesting.
My sound is
elevating the human.
I love That's a good way to put it. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I have currently in the roster of projects that I'm working with a 60s doo-wop song, a screamo metal song,
of course,
and a disco song, and an Americana song, and a fusion of Indian and Americana. That one's kind of fun.
Indian and Americana? Amazing.
And I actually found a banjo player who was trained in classical Indian music. Accidentally. It turned out the banjo player I knew happened to have that skill, but yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really fun. So it's it goes all over the map. And once you start asking people what it is that they are hearing or what they like to hear. Maybe they don't hear, they can't hear the entire production of their own song. I can help realize that, but they do hear sound. They do have preference.
Of course.
And they do have likes and dislikes.
Of course.
And my job as the producer is to help them express that. So
of course.
That's how I approach it. And that's why I think it's an open space to bring out your confidence in it, make you realize, a lot of the people I work with will go on and start producing their own things because that's the experience that they've had. And I think that's amazing.
I love that. We have time for listen, when I launched season 4 with Dinah, I was 28 minutes. We'll get so much covered in a short amount of time.
So short.
It's
so short.
Listen, it's so short. But that's okay because, this is an opportunity for people to kind of get an idea of how powerful music is. More of an idea. We all know how powerful music is, but, an idea of how you approach the power of music when it comes to our mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, because music touches us physically, well-being. I want, for the last question, do you have any 3 tips, tricks, or ideas on how our listeners can either utilize music as a tool for their own mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social well-being, or as a producer, how you make sure that you maintain that well-being for yourself.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, I think finding what you like to listen to and listen to it.
Okay.
Is, I mean, it's like just really basic, and not just like have it, but listen.
Yeah.
Not just have it in the background, but like truly listen.
Be
like,
present.
Be present with it. I know I went and like I studied music in college. Like that was like my thing for like a big chunk of my early life. But I got pretty burnt out and like walked away from it for a while. And I spent like maybe 10 years with music being background music, which is crazy that I'm like a music producer now. But I did. And I was seeing myself slip and feel numb and like get disconnected from myself. And once I started truly listening and like listening to like not only the lyrics, but listening to like the melodies, listening to the contours, listen to the energy exchange in the song, you know, where's it going up? Where's it going down? What are the different instruments doing? Not only is that helpful for like your own focus, because like when you're focusing on these specific elements, there's less space for your brain to be monkey brain. You know? Yeah. Like if you just sit there and you're listening just to the bass part and focusing on that, one, it's training you what a bass player does, but 2, it's aiding in your focus that allows you to not be spiraling.
Sure.
You know, and I think that's really important.
Number 2.
What was the question again?
How can people apply music as a modality for their own mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social
I think the next thing is obviously creating it.
Amen.
Creating it.
Love it. Don't have to worry about your song. Write it for yourself.
Yeah, create it.
I love it.
And don't let other people create it for you.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Don't let the world write your song for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's different components that people feel like more attached to, whether it's the lyrical construct or it's the sonic palette of it or, you know, something else. But some people feel connected to the entire sphere of it. Speak your truth on it.
Love it.
Know? Number 3. Yeah, list of 3 on the spot here. Be confident.
Love that. Be confident. I love that the music is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. My name is Emma G. This is Kimberly Shires of Hear Me Roar Studio. She is able to be contacted in the description links below. Feel free to reach out to her if you are a producer, if you are a singer, if you are just a human wanting to know more. Until next time, friends, be good, be kind, spread love like it's going out of fashion, and peace be with you.
'Cause I am searching, don't need to look outside myself to know that I am whole. And I've been learning, made it through the darkest storms, and I'm coming to my own. And I am worthy of love. I can learn to love myself just because.